Okay, myself, Dr. Pravin Cholake. I am from Botany Department of our college Pune. Today, the topic on which we are going to talk about is transpiration. It's a part and parcel of plant physiology. When different metabolic processes are required to perform the life activities of a plant, and of which transpiration is of paramount importance. I think we all are aware about the requirements of the plant. Plant require carbon dioxide, plant require water for its survival. So whatever amount of water is absorbed by the plant finally reaches to the aerial parts of the plant or leaf of the plant, leaf of the plant. And one of the portion of this water is lost through the various parts of the plant. That is what we call as a transpiration. So first of all, we have to understand what are the requirements of the plant and what is the meaning of transpiration. So what we call as a transpiration is nothing but the loss of the water. But the loss of the water is in the form of the water vapors, and this water is lost from the various parts of the plant, especially aerial parts of the plant. So some amount of water is lost from the foliage or the so-called leaves. This type of transpiration is called as a foliar transpiration, or based on the type of plant part taking part in losing the water. Transpiration is of three different types. One is called as the foliar transpiration. The terminology foliar itself is self-explanatory. What we call as a foliar related with the foliage. So portion of the plant or portion of the water loses from the leaf is called as the foliar transpiration. Now this is the major type of transpiration. Near about 98% of water loss is from the leaves of the plant. Whereas the another type of transpiration is called as a cuticular. I think we all are aware about the cuticle. Cuticle is the integral part in aerial parts of the plant. For example, there is presence of cuticle in stem. There is the presence of cuticle onto the leaf, especially on the upper or lower epidermis. And through this cuticle, or there are certain cracks developed on the cuticle, and then water loses from this cuticle. So this is called as a cuticular transpiration. So a small amount of water, near about 1%, is loses from the cuticle. So this type of transpiration is called as a cuticular transpiration. And the third type of transpiration is called as the lenticular transpiration. So the terminology is a lenticelle. So lenticelles are the cracks present on the stem, and through these cracks a small portion of water is lost, again in the form of water vapors. That is what we call as a lenticular transpiration. Now the point is, why transpiration is required? There are different reasons behind the transpiration process. The first important reason is temperature is one of the factor. Temperature, or we call it as a body temperature of the plant, is important. Through this transpiration process, one can maintain the body temperature. So transpiration play a significant role in maintaining a specific temperature of the plant body. That is one of the reason, or rather the most important reasons. Second point is many times the rate of the transpiration, it also depends on surrounding conditions, or there are certain biotic factors as well as abiotic factors. They actually govern the rate of a transpiration. So many times rate of transpirations may be high, sometimes rate of transpiration is low. Okay, and one of the factors which decides this rate is called as a temperature. So if temperature is too high, then obviously the rate of transpiration is very high, and if the temperature is low, then the rate of transpiration is also low. The second point is wind velocity. So this wind velocity also monitor the rate of transpiration. Now for example, if there is high wind velocity, then rate of transpiration is high. If there is low wind velocity, rate of transpiration is low. But one exception is there. If there is a gentle breeze of wind, wherein that gentle breeze of wind, the rate of transpiration is maximum, and that's why during the summer season, if there is a gentle breeze of a wind, then one can realize that cooling effect. So the cooling effect under the tree is because of the transpiration process. Now, in order to study the transpiration in detail, one should aware about the different plant parts. For example, anatomy of the leaf matters a lot. If you are well aware about the anatomy of the leaf, then leaf anatomy shows presence of upper epidermis, it shows presence of lower epidermis, and in between these two extremes we have mesophyll cells. So these mesophyll cells are of two different types. One is called as palisade parenchyma and another one is called as a spongy parenchyma. Okay, and there are certain pores present on the upper as well as lower epidermis of the leaf, and these pores are nothing but the stomata. So stomata are very important. This stomatal opening and closing also play a significant role in transpiration process. Many a time, if the conditions are adverse, then probably stomata get closed and then it will reduce the transpiration. So during the transpiration, a huge amount of water is absorbed into the plant body, of which some part is utilized for the photosynthesis process, because in photosynthesis, or rather plant required water for photosynthesis process. What we call as a photosynthesis is nothing but synthesis of the food material using light. Okay, and for this photosynthesis process we require certain raw materials as they required in different industries. So we require CO2, we require H2O, and this H2O actually comes from the ground or it comes from the soil, and this water is absorbed through the water column or through the stem, then through the branches, and finally it reaches to the leaves of the plant. Whereas CO2 is absorbed from the atmosphere, and the CO2 and H2 actually undergoes in the light phase, and then there is a formation of the food material or carbon or carbohydrate, which is utilized as a food material for the plant. So for photosynthesis we require water, and that amount of water you have to maintain. There are certain plants in which the rate of transpiration is too high or it is extreme, whereas the plants which grow in scarcity of water or the plants grows in desert, then probably in those cases the rate of transpiration is restricted. So in plant physiology, transpiration, then respiration and photosynthesis, these are the three important metabolic processes which actually govern the health of the plant, and if plant is healthy, then probably its transpiration process is also very fruitful. Now the point is, in order to explain the exact transpiration process, various plant physiologists are working on to the transpiration process. They put forth the different theories, and according to some theories this is the passive process, according to other theories probably this is the active process, and the so-called water column which is normally developed into the stem of the plant, it normally broken up by the transpiration process. So overall transpiration is a vital process and it is required in each and every plant. So friends, if question is asked on the transpiration, then you should be in a position to define the transpiration process. Again, I repeat, what we call as a transpiration is nothing but the loss of water through the aerial parts of the plant in the form of the water vapors. And there are three important organs of the plant which involve in the transpiration process. One is called as the leaf, another one is called as the cuticle, and the third one is called as the lenticule. Thank you.